For the last several years, I have implored you to pay attention to the Atlanta Hawks. Before this season, I told you that the roster was much better, that they had surrounded the young core of talent with some veteran players who would help make the bench even better. Well, they started off very slowly, going 14-20 in their first 34 games before firing their head coach Lloyd Pierce. They replaced him with veteran NBA head coach Nate McMillan, a former NBA point guard who has had marginal success as a head coach. Well, that decision obviously changed things for the better for the Atlanta Hawks, and tonight they will play Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. Back in that time of the year when they were 14-20, they were 11th place in the Eastern Conference. Now they are the second best team, at least, in the conference, and could be the best. It is an incredible turnaround. It's an incredible story because of how this process has worked. Process is what they called the rebuilding process in Philadelphia, and maybe it worked to an extent, but obviously the Hawks process has worked even better. They drafted Trae Young by trading Luka Doncic and then added other pieces. Kevin Huerter, of course, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter. John Collins was the first piece of the puzzle when they first started to rebuild. And then they added the players like Bogdan Bogdanovic, Danilo Gallinari, Clint Capella, and they continue to build a very strong roster. And that depth is what has them in the Eastern Conference Finals, along with the presence of a star. Now, if you've watched the Atlanta Hawks for a while, you know that it's been almost 30 years since the Atlanta Hawks had a star, and that was Dominique Wilkins, who was traded in 1993. You go back and look at the years in between 93 and 2021, that's 28 years, there were a lot of good players. Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock, Dikembe Mutombo, Christian Laettner. You had Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Josh Smith, Joe Johnson, Paul Millsap. A lot of good players, but they were not a star. Hawks have needed someone like Trae Young for 28 years since Dominique Wilkins was traded, and they have that. So the combination of a star player, which is so crucial in the playoffs, just about every team except the 2004 Detroit Pistons have had a star player on an NBA champion. So you could take a star player like Trae Young and surround him with talent like Kevin Huerter and the veterans that were brought in, and you've got a team that right now is one of the 4 best in the NBA. 6 years ago, this team was also in the Eastern Conference Finals. They had Paul Millsap and Kyle Korver, Al Horford. They had some good players, but there was not a star. And so when they faced the Cleveland Cavaliers in that series with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, they had no shot, not to mention the fact that Horford was hurt. Now, with this team, you kind of feel like they got a chance.